I was standing in the cereal aisle the other day holding a box I've been buying for years. Same box, same brand, same spot on the shelf. But when I flipped it over and looked at the weight printed on the back, it did not match what I remembered. The box looked the same. The price was actually higher, but there was less inside. That is when I started keeping a closer eye on my cart. Not just what I was buying, but what I was actually getting for my money. And once you start looking, it is hard to stop. Because the issue is not one product. It is a pattern. Small things that have quietly become worse deals. Things you might buy every single week without realizing the value has shifted. Today, we are going through 12 grocery items that are not worth what most people are paying for them right now. Some of these used to be solid everyday purchases. Some of them have shrunk. Some of them have cheaper alternatives that are just as good. And a couple of them will make you want to check your own pantry before your next shopping trip. And stick around because number 7 on this list is one that catches almost everybody off guard. It is something you probably grab without thinking. And when I tell you what has changed about it, you are going to want to compare the price on your next receipt. If you are new here, this channel is called Better Deal Daily, and we talk about everyday money traps, prices that quietly climb, and things that are not worth paying for anymore. Subscribe before we get into it so you do not miss the next one. Now, let's go through the list. Item number 1, pre-washed bagged salad. This one looks like a convenience win. You grab a bag, toss it in a bowl, and dinner is halfway done. I understand the appeal completely, but the price per ounce on these bags has been climbing, and in many cases, it has been climbing fast. When you compare the cost of a head of romaine lettuce or a whole bag of spinach to the pre-washed mixed greens, the difference can be significant. In a lot of stores, you are paying double the price per serving just for the washing and the bag. Sometimes more than double. Now, if convenience is worth that much to you, that is a fair trade. But many people buying bagged salad do not realize how wide that gap actually is. They assume it is a small premium. It often is not. I started washing and spinning my own greens about a year ago. It adds maybe 4 minutes to meal prep. The difference in my grocery bill over a month was noticeable. If you are buying bagged salad every week, it is worth checking the price per ounce next time you are in the produce section. Compare it to a whole head. You might be surprised. Compare before you grab. The convenience cost may be higher than you think. Item number 2, single-serve flavored oatmeal packets. Oatmeal is one of those foods that should be inexpensive. It is oats. It has been a cheap breakfast for generations. But single-serve flavored oatmeal packets have turned a very affordable grain into one of the most marked up items in the breakfast aisle. You are paying for the portioning, the flavoring, the individual packaging, and the brand name. The actual oats inside each packet are a fraction of the cost. When you price out a canister of plain rolled oats and compare it to the per serving cost of the flavored packets, the packets often cost 3 to 5 times more per serving. And the flavoring in those packets is mostly sugar and artificial flavor. Nothing you could not do yourself with a little cinnamon and a spoonful of brown sugar on plain oats. I used to buy a box of those packets out of habit. Then one week, I ran out and just made plain oats and added what I had in the pantry. It tasted just as good. And when I compared the cost, I stopped buying the packets. That was a small but recurring charge that added up over a year without me ever questioning it. If you eat oatmeal regularly, price out plain rolled oats against your current packets. The savings are real and the breakfast is basically the same. Item number 3, bottled salad dressing. This is one I feel a little embarrassed about because the math is so obvious once you look at it. Bottled salad dressing is one of the most marked up items in any grocery store. The ingredients in most dressings are oil, vinegar, or an acid, a little sugar, salt, and some seasoning. That is it. The base cost of those ingredients is very low, but a bottle of decent salad dressing at the grocery store can run you $4 to $6 or more, depending on the brand. And then half of it sits in the fridge for 2 months and gets thrown out. Making a simple dressing at home takes about 90 seconds. Olive oil, a little vinegar or lemon juice, some salt, maybe a small amount of mustard to help it come together. You can make as much or as little as you need, and there is no waste. The cost per serving drops significantly. Now, I understand some dressings have more complex flavors that are hard to replicate. Ranch, Caesar, certain specialty dressings. But even there, The store brand version of the same dressing is often meaningfully cheaper than the name brand, and most people cannot taste the difference. If you go through salad dressing quickly, this is worth recalculating. If you throw a lot of it out, that is money going straight in the trash. Skip the premium name brand. Try the store brand or a simple homemade version first. Item number 4, shredded cheese bags. Here is one that surprises people. Block cheese and shredded cheese are often the same cheese. But shredded cheese costs more, and the reason it costs more is mostly packaging and a small amount of anti-caking agent that keeps the shreds from clumping. That anti-caking agent, usually cellulose, does not hurt anything, but it does affect how the cheese melts. If you have ever noticed that store-bought shredded cheese does not melt as smoothly as cheese you shred yourself, that is why. The coating interferes slightly with the melt, so you are paying more per ounce for a product that in some cases performs slightly worse in cooking than the block version you could shred yourself in about 2 minutes with a box grater. Now, if convenience matters to you and you are not cooking something where the melt is important, shredded cheese is fine. But if you use a lot of cheese and you are cooking things like casseroles, sauces, or melted dishes, the block is worth considering. You get more cheese for less money, and it often tastes and melts better. Compare the price per ounce on your next trip. Block cheese usually wins on both value and performance. Item number 5, flavored sparkling water. Brands. Sparkling water became a huge trend, and the premium branded versions became a normal weekly purchase for a lot of households. Nothing wrong with that on its own. But the prices on certain name brand flavored sparkling waters have quietly climbed, while store brand alternatives have gotten very good. In many grocery stores, the difference between a 12-pack of a premium sparkling water brand and the store brand equivalent is $3 to $4 or more. Per can, the difference might seem small, but if you go through a case a week, that is over $150 a year on nothing but the brand name. I have done informal taste tests with people in my own life. Most of them cannot reliably pick the premium brand from the store brand when the cans are not labeled. The carbonation, the flavor intensity, the overall experience is very similar. If you are drinking a lot of sparkling water, this is a low-risk swap to try. Grab 1 pack of the store brand next time and compare. You might find the value gap is not worth it. Check the store brand before paying extra for the label. Item number 6, breakfast cereal. Name. Brand cereal is one of the clearest examples of a product where you are often paying a premium for marketing, not for meaningfully better food. Many name brand cereals and their store brand counterparts are nutritionally almost identical. Same ingredients in the same order on the label, same taste in most cases, different box. The markup on name brand cereal compared to store brand equivalents can be significant. 30, 40, sometimes 50% more for the same product with a different logo on the front. Cereal is also one of the categories that has been quietly affected by what shoppers call shrinkflation. Some boxes have gotten lighter while the price held steady or went up. If you are buying a name brand and have not compared the weight on the box recently, it is worth flipping it over. I grew up eating name brand cereal and I thought store brand always tasted off. Then I actually compared a couple side by side as an adult. The ones I tested were either the same or close enough that I could not justify paying more. Not for all cereals, but for most of the simple ones. Try the store brand version of your regular cereal. Compare the ingredient list and the price per ounce. You may find it is a swap that costs you nothing in taste. Item number 7, individual snack pack. Items. This is the one I promised you earlier, and it is one that hits people harder than they expect. Individual snack packs, those small portions of crackers, chips, cookies, nuts, or trail mix sold in a multi-pack box, are one of the most expensive ways to buy snack food by weight. The appeal is portion control and convenience. That is real, but the price per ounce, compared to buying the same product in a regular full-size bag and portioning it yourself, can be dramatic. In many cases, you are paying 50 to 80% more per ounce just for the individual packaging. That is a real markup for something you could do yourself in 30 seconds with a small bag or container. If you are buying these for school lunches or for portion control reasons, I understand the logic. But if you are doing it out of habit because it feels convenient, the cost is worth calculating. I started buying the full-size bag and portioning snacks on Sunday nights for the week. It takes a few minutes. The cost difference over a month was enough to notice. Not dramatic, but it was real. If you buy snack packs regularly, price out the full-size version, and do the math. The savings may be more than you expect. Item number 8. Pre-cut fruit and vegetables. Similar to the bagged salad, pre-cut fruit and vegetables carry a significant convenience premium. A whole watermelon versus pre-cut watermelon chunks. A head of broccoli versus broccoli florets in a bag. Whole pineapple versus pineapple rings in a container. In almost every case, the pre-cut version costs substantially more per pound than the whole version. Sometimes it is twice the price, sometimes more. You are paying for someone else's time to do a task that takes a few minutes. There is also a freshness consideration. Pre-cut produce has often been sitting longer and may spoil faster once you get it home. Whole fruit and vegetables tend to last longer in the fridge before you cut into them. Now, for things like whole pineapples or coconuts where cutting requires real skill or a good knife, the pre-cut option makes more sense. But for broccoli, melon, bell peppers, or anything you can chop with a basic kitchen knife in 5 minutes, the price difference is hard to justify. Check the price per pound on your next shopping trip. Compare the whole versus the pre-cut. The gap is usually obvious once you look. Item number 9. Store brand look-alike products. You are not comparing. This one is slightly different because it is less about a specific product and more about a habit. A lot of people, myself included for a long time, have a mental list of things they buy in name brand and things they buy store brand. That list was probably made years ago and never updated. The quality gap between name brand and store brand has narrowed considerably in many categories. Canned tomatoes, pasta, flour, sugar, baking staples, frozen vegetables, olive oil, butter, eggs, dried beans, rice. In a lot of these categories, the store brand is made in the same facility, sometimes by the same supplier, and is nutritionally and practically identical. The markup on name brands in these basic pantry categories can be 30 to 60% in some stores. On items you buy every week, that adds up across a year. I went through my cart once and just counted how many name brand items I had that I had never actually compared to the store brand version. It was more than I expected. When I started switching where the store brand was strong, my weekly grocery total dropped without me changing what I was eating. Pick one name brand pantry staple and compare it to the store brand this week. Price, ingredients, and if you can, taste. See if the premium is earning its keep. Item number 10. Bottled water. Single serve. This one has been discussed for years, but it keeps showing up on grocery receipts. Single serve bottled water is one of the most marked up products in any store. The water inside is in many cases processed municipal water. The cost of producing it is tiny. The cost to the consumer per gallon is many times higher than tap water, and even many times higher than filtered water at home. If you are buying a case of single-serve water bottles every week because it is convenient, the math is worth running. A decent water filter pitcher can pay for itself in a few weeks compared to buying bottled water regularly. Reusable bottles take a week or two. I understand there are situations where bottled water makes sense. Travel, emergencies, areas where tap water quality is a legitimate concern. Those are valid. But as a routine weekly grocery purchase because it is easy, it is one of the most expensive ways to drink water. If you buy bottled water regularly, calculate what you spend per month. Then price out a filter. The comparison is usually striking. Item number 11. Specialty flavored chips and premium snack brands. The chip and snack aisle has seen a significant push into premium and specialty products over the last several years. Fancy flavors, artisanal branding, exotic ingredients on the front of the bag. The prices reflect that premium positioning. But in many cases, the calorie count, the ingredient quality, and the serving size are not meaningfully better than a standard chip at a much lower price. You are largely paying for the branding story and the packaging design. The portion sizes in some of these premium snack bags are also notably smaller than they look. You open what appears to be a generously sized bag and get fewer servings than you expected. The price per serving can be 2 or 3 times higher than a store brand equivalent. This is not about saying you should never treat yourself. It is about being aware of what you are paying for when you do. If a premium chip is something you genuinely enjoy and it is worth the price to you, that is a reasonable decision. But if you are grabbing it out of habit or because the packaging caught your eye, the price difference is worth noticing. Compare the price per ounce and the serving count on a premium snack against a regular store brand version. The number tells you whether the enjoyment is worth the gap. Item number 12, meal kit subscription groceries at the store. This last one is a little different. Some grocery stores and retail sections now sell what are essentially meal kit components or partially prepped recipe packs at the store level. Not a subscription service, but in-store bundled meal packages where the ingredients for a specific recipe are packaged together for a flat price. On the surface, it looks convenient. Everything you need for one dinner in one bag. But when you price out the individual ingredients separately, the bundled price is almost always higher. Sometimes significantly higher. You are paying a premium for the curation and the packaging. The same goes for grocery store rotisserie-adjacent meal kits or heat and eat prepared meal components that sit at a high price point in the prepared food section. They are not the same as a grab-and-go rotisserie chicken, which is often a genuinely good value. They are packaged convenience items at a significant markup. If you see one of these bundled meal packages and feel tempted, take 60 seconds and price out the same ingredients in the regular aisle. Most of the time, the difference will give you a clear answer. Buy the ingredients separately. You usually get more food for less money, and you are not locked into someone else's recipe. So, what is the common thread here? Every item on this list has one thing in common. The value has shifted. The deal changed. And most people never noticed because nothing sent an alert. The price moved gradually. The package shrank quietly, or the store brand caught up while the name brand stayed expensive. And because we buy these things on autopilot, the money keeps going out without us ever stopping to ask whether it still makes sense. That is the trap. Not one big purchase. A dozen small ones that repeat every week, every month, year after year. The good news is that fixing it does not require a dramatic overhaul. You do not need to change everything you eat or rethink your entire shopping list. You just need to start asking a simple question before you grab the usual item. Is this still worth it? Have I compared this recently? Is there a cheaper version that would honestly do the same job? Most of the time, the answer leads to a small savings. And small savings on repeated purchases add up to real money over time, not someday money. Actual monthly savings you will notice. Pick one item from this list that you buy regularly. Just one. Before your next grocery trip, look it up. Compare the store brand, check the price per ounce, or decide whether you actually need it in that form. That is the whole exercise. One item, one comparison. If you found this useful, please subscribe to Better Deal Daily. We put out new videos every week on the everyday purchases that quietly drain your wallet and the simple ways regular people can stop it from happening. Hit the like button if any of these items caught you off guard, and leave a comment telling me one grocery item you have reconsidered recently, or one thing you switched to a store brand and never looked back. I read those comments, and they help shape what we cover next. Coming up soon on this channel, we are looking at restaurant charges that most people do not notice until they check the bill, and a closer look at which household cleaning products are genuinely worth the price, and which ones are mostly brand recognition. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one.